Chicago Fire Season 13 acknowledges a prominent Severide and Kid headcanon and makes it official. Kelly Severide and Stella Kid's relationship is changing in Chicago Fire Season 13, seemingly calling for the show to finally address one major headcanon concerning the fan-favorite couple. The NBC procedural drama has featured numerous Firehouse 51 romances over the years. However, the most popular and successful love story undoubtedly belongs to Severide and Kid, whose relationship began when Kid transferred to the fire station in Season 4. They have come a long way since then, as they are now married and thinking about growing their family. In the back half of Chicago Fire Season 13, Severide and Kid have been mulling over the idea of adoption. By the end of episode 13, the couple agrees to call an adoption agency. So the possibility of Severide and Kid becoming parents is becoming more and more real with every episode that passes. While taking the next step in their marriage is exciting, one specific Severide and Kid headcanon from fans coming true in Chicago Fire Season 13. Episode 13 makes it all the better. At the beginning of Born of Fire, Kid tells Violet McCalmy about her and Severide thinking about adopting a child. Violet is over the moon for her friends, of course. She comments, "Wow, a Stellaride baby." Kid, confused, asks her what she means by Stellaride. According to Violet, that is what every Chicago Fire Season 13 character calls the couple. Stellaride is Severide and Kid's couple name outside the NBC show. Almost all fictional characters and celebrities, either in a relationship or who fans want to see in a relationship, are given a ship name, created by combining their two names. So Severide and Kid's is Stellaride. After almost 10 seasons, Chicago Fire has finally acknowledged the name that fans have dubbed the couple, making it canon within the One Chicago universe. Since Chicago Fire Season 13, Episode 13 recognizes Severide and Kid's ship name, it's clear that the writers and producers are listening to fans. So this headcanon becoming canon suggests the show could continue giving the people what they want. Perhaps instead of continuously torturing Severide and Kid by throwing so many obstacles their way, the married couple can finally be happy moving forward, something many viewers are desperate for. Hopefully this means Kid and Severide's Chicago Fire Season 13 baby story will end with them actually becoming parents. For years, Chicago Fire fans have built an entire universe of speculation, headcanons, and emotional theories around the beating heart of Firehouse 51. But among all the possible what-ifs, one particular headcanon about Kelly Severide and Stella Kid has lived rent-free in viewers' minds. Now, in a bold move that feels like both a reward for longtime supporters and a refreshing step forward in storytelling, Chicago Fire has taken that fan theory, dusted it off, and officially made it canon. The moment has sparked celebration across social media, where Stellaride loyalists are feeling validated like never before. What started as whispers in fan forums and threads has now been written into the script, confirming that sometimes the audience really does help shape the narrative. The headcanon that refused to die. Since Severide, Taylor Kinney, and Kid, Miranda Ray Mayo, first crossed paths, their chemistry has been electric. What began as mutual respect and camaraderie between firefighters quickly evolved into something deeper, rawer, and infinitely more compelling. The headcanon that took hold early on suggested that Severide and Kid weren't just partners at the firehouse or lovers, navigating the messy waters of romance. They were two halves of the same coin, each bringing balance to the other. Fans theorized that their connection was more spiritual than circumstantial, that fate itself had linked them long before Bowden assigned them to the same house. In fanfiction and discussions, one recurring idea stood out: that Severide and Kid's bond wasn't just about passion or shared danger, it was about healing. Severide's history of loss, betrayal, and reckless decision-making could only be tempered by Kid's resilience, optimism, and hard-won strength. In turn, Kid's occasional self-doubt and drive to prove herself could only find steady grounding in Severide's unshakable faith in her abilities. This wasn't just romance, it was Fire made it official. In a recent episode, the writers cleverly wove this fan-beloved concept into the narrative. During a quiet moment away from the chaos of sirens and smoke, Severide opened up to Kid in a way that fans had long imagined but never heard aloud. Reflecting on the turmoil of his past, the fleeting relationships, the burden of his father's shadow, and the weight of all the lives lost. Severide admitted that he never believed he'd find someone who made him feel whole. He confessed that Kid wasn't just his partner or wife, she was the reason he stopped self-destructing. Kid, in turn, acknowledged that Severide wasn't just her anchor but also her mirror. He saw her not as a firefighter scrambling to prove herself in a male-dominated space, but as the natural-born leader she was. She admitted that his belief in her gave her the courage to step into her own power. With those words, the writers officially validated the long-standing fan theory: Severide isn't just a love story, it's a story of survival, healing, and destiny. Why this matters for Severide? Some might argue that the show didn't need to put this into words. After all, Severide's relationship has been layered with unspoken truths from the beginning. But making this headcanon canon does more than just reward sharp-eyed fans. It deepens the emotional stakes for the couple moving forward. By acknowledging their unique bond, the show raises the question: what happens if one half of that balance is disrupted? What if Severide's dark side resurfaces or Kid's insecurities creep back in? Now that their healing connection has been named, it also becomes a vulnerability, and Chicago Fire thrives on testing its strongest bonds under pressure. Fans react? We wrote this into existence. The fandom's reaction was instantaneous and explosive. On X, formerly Twitter, fans joked that the Chicago Fire writers had clearly been lurking in fanfiction archives and Reddit threads. Not me crying because Severide literally said what we've been writing in fanfic for years, one user posted. The writers finally admitted that Severide plus Kid are soulmates, and we did that. We manifested it, another fan added. Even on platforms like Tumblr, where the headcanon first gained traction, the mood was triumphant. This is our win. Read one popular post shared thousands of times: the evolution of Severide. Looking back, it almost feels inevitable that the show would eventually lean into this interpretation of their relationship. Severide, who once struggled with commitment and ran from emotional intimacy, found in Kid a safe harbor. Kid, who often felt underestimated or overshadowed, found in Severide a constant voice of belief. Their marriage, rocky as it has been at times, feels like a culmination of years of groundwork, not just from the writers, but from fans who saw more between the lines than even the scripts initially acknowledged. It's a testament to how television storytelling can evolve when creators pay attention to their audience. The Chicago Fire team didn't just hear the Severide fandom, they respected it enough to make its favorite headcanon canon. What comes next? Now that this bond has been defined out loud, the stakes are higher than ever. Will the writers challenge it by putting Severide through another fire, literally and metaphorically? Will Severide's darker impulses be tested again, and if so, how will Kid pull him back? Or will Kid face a moment where her leadership is questioned, and Severide must step aside to let her shine? The possibilities are endless, but one thing is certain: Severide's relationship is no longer just a fan-driven headcanon, it's a cornerstone of the show's emotional core.